Welcome back to the channel. To me here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about and discussing Emmanuel Macron and his emergency meeting that he's calling. I know that he called it, as of when you guys are probably watching this video, it's probably be on a Thursday of this week. But when I am recording this, it is Monday the 17th. You can see that here, Monday the 17th. Specifically the February the 17th. You can definitely see that it is the 17th as of when I am recording now. If you want proof, I'm going to go to Google just to show you proof of when this specific video is being recorded, because I have a feeling this video is going to be out later than expected. But essentially, this is Kathy Hochul, the governor. You can kind of see when that video has been uploaded, 9 hours ago, so you can kind of like show you proof. Okay, so listen, like, this is when this video in particular is being made and, you know, stuff like that uploaded. I tried to do everything in 9 hours just to show you proof. Here you go, or like that, T-title, it's so cute. One day CNN, right? You can look that up to see when this video was being recorded. You know, it's 1 day old or whatnot. So again, this video is being recorded on February the 17th at 1:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yes, I am recording this at midnight. So Monday 17th, February 17th at 1:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And essentially, this video is going to be covering Emmanuel Macron emergency meeting summit. Take a look at there. And I also have been telling you guys for quite some time now that I think since 2021 that I kept seeing that France move towards the imperialistic. They become imperial and that they become a superpower again. So France, I definitely expect to go and be in a new cycle. It's going to become the new America. It's going to be very imperial. So definitely expect that from France. That's going to be something that to expect they will undergo a civil war of some type, whether that is a physical one or a manifestation of an ideology change. But France is definitely heading that way. And then India is also going to be the economic superpower that's going to surpass the United States, China, and Russia within the next 5-7 years. India is going to be the superpower. So India is going to be the one that sets the new world order. I always got that as something that has been consistent. I'll do a video on India. India will be the new center stage. So we'll see what happens with India. Alright, so anyway, let's take a look. Let's see what's going on in today's video. If you want to help engage with the content and the channel, you can do so by liking, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, or even commenting the bottom of this video. You can also watch this video longer than normal, and you'll be telling the algorithm, hey, I like his content, show me more. You'll be shown my content, you'll be shown other second tarot card readers and astrologers as well. So it helps you, help me, help everybody. Also, if you have been noticing, YouTube has been deleting comments, have not been showing me your comment, or you're not being notified when I do post and upload. All this will be solved if you just go into the comment section below or in the description and follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group. Alright, so without further ado, let's just begin. We have a lot to go through today. This video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. This video will be short, okay, because I am doing this at night and I have work very early today, so I'm going to make this video short as much as I can. But anyway, enjoy it. Let's do it. Alright, so let's take a look. Let's see what's going on here. Let me just see what the main topic is, because I have no idea what he's doing. Okay, let's see what Emmanuel Macron, the Prime Minister of France. Okay, France Macron to host emergency European summit on Ukraine. Okay, and it's supposed to be today actually when it's taking place. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on with the summit. Let's see what the energies are. So Spiritual Angels, tell me about Emmanuel Macron and his U.S. emergency summit about Ukraine and U.S. withdrawal from Ukraine. Or, yeah, let's just do that. France emergency summit. What's going on there? Okay, so this is definitely lack of planning. That's for sure. That's what I'm getting, a lack of planning. He sees this as a sign for something. There's a sign here that he's seeing. There's definitely underlying ambitions. There's definitely underlying ambitions here. Because we have the Six of Wands reversed, the lack of victory, Then we have here on the top of the deck, we have darkness, which is represented here by the Hermit card reverse. Let's take a look. Let me read it to you. Let's see what's going on here. So the first card that comes up in reverse is the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles card is very indicative, and it's also indicating to me in particular that what's it called? There's a lack of planning here. There is definitely a lack of planning. Feels like this was more of an emotional outburst rather than that of an actual plan. Okay, so this is more of an emotional response. It's being challenged by the Eight of Wands here, which is something being rained down. So something being rained down and the lack of planning. I feel like this has to do with worry and anxiety and the idea that, okay, if Ukraine falls, who's next on a dominoes list? That's what the idea is. That an emergency is, okay, the U.S. cannot back Ukraine. If Ukraine falls, who's next? Is essentially what it's talking about. It's almost like it's creating a plan for the next thing to do if Ukraine falls. So that's what they're planning. They're basically saying, okay, so we see an outcome here where Ukraine cannot hold its ground anymore. So what can we do to be able to ensure that they hold its ground? But we've got to make a plan B. And that could be explained by the lack of plan, which means they are creating a plan. There isn't a plan now, but they're going to be creating a plan. Which also followed by the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords here is telling me that they feel like this will be like a repeat of an election, a repeat of this historical event that happened and they're too far familiar with. Appeasement. They don't want to appease the oppressor, because when you appease the oppressor, they want more and more and more, and eventually you're going to get to a point where they're going to be in war anyway. You're going to go to the inevitable outcome, right? So, for example, with the no German guy, Hitler, everybody would kept appeasing him because they're like, oh, well, no more. You can have Austria, but no more. Then he took Hungary, and then they said no more. Then he took Czechoslovakia. They said no more. Then he took Poland, and this goes on and on and on. Essentially, same thing. They don't want to have a repeat here. Here is the Three of Wands. They're saying if we don't do something now, one of us could be next. So this is essentially what it's referring to, that this is somebody who is overlooking the destruction. Somebody who's overlooking the destruction of something. And here it's represented here by Emmanuel Macron, who wants to take the center stage. He wants to be the individual who everybody looks up to in terms of leadership. This is the King of Wands. This might be the bad move because essentially Macron, if he was to be removed, essentially France would be a power vacuum, and just say France moved to the right, so does Europe because of him. Even if Emmanuel Macron leaves, and just say they put somebody who's far right in, like Marine Le Pen, they put her in. Now she has all the power that Macron created, and now she can be able to do what she wants with that assumed power. Because remember, I said France is going to become very imperialistic, right? They're going to become very imperial. And that's what's going to make them a world power again. That's what's going to make them more relevant again. Right? They're going back into that energy. Underneath that King of Wands here is going back to the past, going back to the way the good old days. This is feels like the king, the emperor, those colonies that France had. It's going back to the colonial era energy, going back to the way the way France was very well respected and loved and appreciated. It's talking about the Napoleon era, those type of things. Even though we all know they were actually not very much appreciated by European countries, but that's just how they appear themselves to be. Here we have the Five of Cups reverse, which means there's not a lack of loss. So there is a future here where I'm seeing where Emmanuel Macron is taking the leadership position away from the United States and centering France at the new leadership position. And that could expedite the imperialistic tendencies of France. And now going towards the next card here, which is the Page of Pentacles reverse, and this is not an opportunity. This is not an opportunity to offer money, but it's an opportunity to the next stage of Europe. This is really what it is, the next order in Europe. So basically the New World Order in Europe and how it's going to function here on out. And after the Page of Pentacles reverse, we also have here the Five of Pentacles reverse. And that card in particular is telling me here that there is not a loss for France in some way, but I don't know if there's a lot of information here in Ukraine because it's not telling me any information regarding Ukraine. Because it doesn't feel like that is what the intention is behind that. I feel like there's a little bit more of an intention behind setting France at the center stage. It seems more of like a representation of setting a new era, a new timeline for Europe, rather than making a plan for Ukraine. It feels to me that they feel like Ukraine is going to fall, and that they're making a backup plan. Essentially, is what it feels like it's doing. Here we have the Hermit card reverse, followed by the Sun card. It doesn't feel like happy time. It feels like it's giving me the ambiance of like when FDR, Joseph Stalin, and Winston Churchill met for the first time in person. They started talking during World War II. That's what it felt like. It feels like that energy. And the next card that comes in here is the Knight of Cups. Someone comes in with the idea. Someone makes the final call. Someone makes the final judgment. And this is definitely foreign. They're overseas. So this feels like to me that France will be taking the center stage, but it does feel like that type of ambiance. Maybe there's three world powers, maybe there's three main countries that come out of this, but that is something I'm getting from France, and why Emmanuel Macron did what he did in terms of all that. Now we're going to ask about what was the other part of the question? I don't know. So we're just going to cover Ukraine and see from a worldwide perspective, how Ukraine was going to go in Europe, just to kind of get a better idea about what's going on. Because I feel like that's important, especially for the summit and everything. So let's go and take a look. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see. Well, I guess we'll ask Ukraine, and then we'll finish off with one last question for this video. Then we're done. All right. So, Spirits and Angels, tell me about Ukraine, the Ukrainian-Russian war. What's going on there? What are the energies like this year for Ukraine-Russian war? What's going on? You want to tell me anything regarding that, Spirit? Okay, there's definitely poor planning here. That's for sure. Again. Oh, okay. So these cards have come up again. So maybe the poor planning might also be talking about Ukraine. These all cards came up before, and you saw me separate them. Does Ukraine lose the war? Okay, we have a Tower card here, a Change. We have a ten of Swords, and we have the Queen of Swords. The justice doesn't get served. I have a feeling Ukraine falls. Is Ukraine falling? Does Ukraine get defeated in the Ukrainian-Russian war that's currently ongoing between Russia? Does Ukraine get defeated? Is this what's going on here? Yeah. Ukraine gets defeated. Yeah. Because this is what I'm getting here. I'm getting this energy is Ukraine. Is this Ukraine? Are you sure? Are you of the light consciousness? Okay, remove yourself. You're not welcome. Spirit, is this Ukraine? Are you of the light consciousness? Are you of the light consciousness? Are you of the light consciousness? Okay, so they're telling me this is Ukraine. Is this Russia? Who is that then? So who is this? Who is the Three of Pentacles followed by the Knight of Swords? What do you mean you can't disclose that? Okay, they're telling me, okay, so this is what they're telling me here. These two cards we cannot disclose information on because it can affect the outcome of the war. So I guess I'll be very careful with what I'm saying here. However, this King of Wands here, which is probably Zelensky, is probably what this card is referring to, is probably Zelensky. But it does say that these cards represented Ukraine. This is the King of Wands here, which is Zelensky, and a lack of victory. which is the Six of Wands here. Now, these two cards came up, well, these three cards came up in the previous reading earlier in today's video. This is important because it talks about a lack of planning among Zelensky, which means that he is definitely struggling. And, you know, we talked about how I couldn't get Ukraine in the reading, not a lot of it, and it's fully focused on France's perspective. But now that we've taken a look at the Ukrainian-Russian war, we're starting to get more of the same cards, which is telling me here that, yeah, there was information that was talked about in terms of Ukraine, but it's talking about the poor planning of it, which might mean that maybe because the U.S. withdrew, Ukraine might have a harder time trying to hold off on Russian aggression, which will be represented here by poor planning. This also means a lack of funding. A lack of funding to make things happen, make things manifest, which makes sense. Here in the card that's coming up soon was represented here at the Seven of Swords, which means there will be more land stolen from Ukraine. So yeah, more land will be occupied from Ukraine. That's something that's going to be coming up after the summit. And here the card that comes up after it is the Five of Pentacles. It doesn't feel like Ukraine walked away. It doesn't feel like they end the war, like the war is still ongoing, if that makes any sense. But we have here the two cards that come out after when I was asking if they'd win or defeat. This comes up as Ukraine. This comes up as a what's it called? The hidden. I'm hearing a word hidden enemy at this point. We don't know exactly who this enemy is, whether that is for the Ukraine or a hidden enemy against Russia. That is yet to be seen, but this is the Three of Pentacles. This has to do with money or an agreement or a lack of agreement. And here we have the Knight of Swords. Someone comes in and it's at a surprise attack. So whatever this is, there will be a new entry into this war. A country is going to enter the war. I don't know if that's physically troops physically going into Ukraine war, or there is going to be, well, there's definitely going to be entry into the war, but it doesn't specify whether there's going to be troops on the ground, or it's going to be direct conflicts, or it can be indirect conflict, kind of like think of it similar to like the, what is a war where the United States intervene, but kind of stay behind the scenes? I don't know what war that was, but the United States did that. Kind of like similar to that energy. Can you give us a little bit more of a description about this country that's mysterious that's going to enter the Ukrainian war? We have the Fool. This has a booming economy. Whoever this country is, it's going to have a booming economy. At least it could be that's what it could appear like. One card that represents the Ukrainian-Russian war. Okay, this is the card that represents the Ukrainian-Russian war. What is the card that represents the surprise entry into the war? Or this country? Who is this country? We have your circle around. So there's a circling around. Which makes sense because there is an occupation of more land from Ukraine. We have here domestic. Maybe it's a rebel. Maybe it's a rebel group. This has to be a rebel group, possibly. Is this a rebel group in Ukraine? Women. It's a man. So it has to do. It's a man. It's a male. A rebel group. So that's the masculine. Yeah. So it's definitely war. It's war energy. And we have here no, but something has been turned on. What has been turned on? Shooting star. Reverse. This feels like a rebellion. I wonder if this is Russia, but maybe what if there's a rebellion in Russia and that is a new entry into the war where that changes dynamic. Maybe that's what it could be. It could also be maybe there's a rebellion within Ukraine as well. Let me ask the cards. Is there a rebellion in Russia? Is that what this is talking about? Is there a rebellion or a rebel group that formed from Russia? So the first card that came out originally was the Lovers card. It was upright. It just hit my finger and it went reverse. Here we do have the Queen of Wands here. Okay, what about Ukraine? Is Ukraine the one that's going to have that rebel group come out? or rebellion against the government. We have here an offer, a Knight of Cups, something domestic. So it does make sense because we talked about domestic earlier. Something being domestic, which means it's taking place in the Ukrainian war, which means this might be a rebellion by his own people. People might be rebelling against Zelensky or trying to take Zelensky out. But simultaneously, it's also happening in Russia. That's going to be an interesting dynamic. We have the Lovers card here reversed and the Queen of Wands here. It's the feminine energy, whereas for Ukraine, it's the masculine. And the feminine is more that nurturing type. I'm getting more passive protests here, where this is more aggressive protests. More riots, where it's just more passive. Interesting. Interesting. I did not expect any of this. Okay, so now that we established that, let's just make sure we're actually recording here. And, okay, so let's go and see now. Okay, so now we got all that. What's the other question that I need to ask? We're doing European Summit. Oh, imperialism. Let's ask the card if there's any more information regarding, the question regarding France and I don't know, anything regarding France. I feel like this is like a French/Ukraine video, but I feel like is there anything else from Europe? Let's just go there. I know I have to do a video on Germany again. Alright, so Spiritual Angel, tell me about France. Tell me about, actually no, just give me anything you want to talk about in terms of Europe, I guess. Just give me a couple cards. I don't want to do too long of a video, so just give me a couple cards. Give me 3 cards, that's it. Okay, so what's going on in Europe? We have the first card that's represented by something being thrown down, and this is the Temperance card reverse. The Fool card, what's going on in Europe, like the continent of Europe, we have to hear the 8 of Wands, which means there is a threat of taking over more countries. So I would not be surprised if countries start talking about taking over or integrating or annexing countries or even become unison. So like the Franco-British Union, like that type of scenario, where countries just become unified under one governmental body. And anyway, there's going to be some sort of unity, or there would be forced unity in some way. So that's what I'm getting from here. I'm also getting European Union for some reason, and NATO. So that might be an interesting complexion. So we have temperate imbalance. Right, peace is imbalance in Europe. War has once again been sought out on the European continent. Here we have the Fool card, the fear, the energy that it feels all too reminiscent, and it feels like the European continent is a battleground. Like it's almost like it's a battle. It's a battle for the soul. And I'm also getting an indication here. Remember how the United States, a lot of European countries during the fall of World War World War II, and a little bit earlier, and they were the reason why the British are still here and active today, and were able to hold off the German invasion by Hitler. Essentially, is saying here that this feels like a repeat, essentially without America involved, and it'll be essentially showing either the strength and weaknesses and how it would have played out had the United States had not intervened in the war in the first place. It's essentially what it feels like. We also have the Fool card here, which means it feels like somebody is walking into imbalance. So somebody's walking towards imbalance here, and it's further emphasized by the Empress, which means Russia is influenced in this country. So Russia, the Empress, is reversed here, which is telling me this imbalance in Europe is being caused by Russia and Vladimir, but also is being caused by not only Vladimir but also 45. So there's imbalance by 2 countries. This doesn't feel like one anymore. It feels like there's multiple avenues, and there's so many imbalances in Europe that is causing issues. But in particular, this is talking about somebody who's going to walk into an imbalanced state. Was it going to be caused by foreign adversaries trying to interfere? yeah, we have the 7 of Cups here. Again, this is the unity here. What do we do now? Where do we go from here? How do we handle this? And then we have here lack of restrictions. Lack of restriction. We have here we're walking into imbalance, right? And here we have the moon card hidden. Hidden choices, hidden options. And what's the center of the reading for Europe? We have here Europe needs to fight, essentially, which is the 7 of Swords reversed. Europe needs to fight, and the outcome there is going to be the Chariot and the 6 of Cups. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be war on the European continent. Again, yeah, the Hangman. This feels very reminiscent of Nazi Germany 1933. Yeah, feels like that. Um, Let me see. I'm gonna ask the cards just one more time. Are we going? Is Europe going to go into a full-fledged war? Because it feels like that's what it feels like. It feels like war. Because we have loss here. Okay. Now I don't know if you guys remember, and only the people who've been with me for quite a long time, for I think 2 or 3 years, you may have remembered when I called and talking about France being an imperialistic nation again, and India being a world superpower. I also mentioned that it kept getting visions and indications that there were going to be 2 different United States. There were going to be the United States of fascism, and there was going to be the regular United States, and there was going to be a clear split between the two. And that, had a story of the Axis powers and the Allies being the British, the British, the Americans, and its Commonwealth, and Canada, and all those allies, that they're going to actually, in this timeline, it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be a complete butterfly effect. So the countries that were on the Allies are going to go through a period of darkness, and then those on the Axis side are going to go through a period of light. And so essentially it's going to indicate that the countries that went through this darkness in World War II will go through a period of lightness, whereas those who went through a period of light during World War II will go through a period of darkness. And the darkness is indicated by fascism or right-wing ideology. Right, we talked about that. We'll have to touch upon that in another video. It's definitely going to come soon. But let's take a look and just ask one more question. It won't be long, I promise. Is the United States is the European continent going to experience World War III? Is that what you're saying? And I feel like this is a big question. So, is the U.S. Is the European continent going to experience World War III within the next 4 years? We have the Ace of Cups, we have the King of Cups. Okay, it feels like it gives me kind of wonky responses. We have the 10 of Pentacles reversed. Doesn't feel like it's passed down. And here we have the King of Pentacles reversed. 45 is out of the picture by the time the 4th year comes around. So that's what that feels like. We're asking whether or not Europe is going to experience a World War III within the next 4 years. I'm getting weird information. There's going to be information that's going to be said on the news. People are going to be worried. They're going to be scared. That, hey, listen, World War III is going to happen in the European continent. Not yet. Here we have the Ace of Cups here. They're saying it's building the story, it's building the momentum, it's building the energy, but we're not quite there yet. The water had not yet spilled. Here we do have the King of Cups. Now this is the King of Cups that represents a calm leader in the midst of chaos. This is saying a chaotic leader amidst the calm waters. What does it tell me now? Not right now. Now. Next 4 years will be fine. Europe will be fine for the next 4 years. Here, after that, we have the 4 of Swords, which tells me there possibly could be an ending of peace towards the end of the 4th year. There could be an end of peace on the European continent. We'll see what happens. But it is also saying it could be the ending of chaotic leaders amidst calm waters, or trying to basically what this means is that essentially multiple leaders are trying to cause chaos among when things don't need to be created chaos, or chaos is created amidst the calmness, is essentially what it's saying. Right? And the Ace of Cups here reversed, which means something didn't get spilled over. And you have the King of Cups reversed, being challenged by the Strength card heading towards the past, the strength of the past. So there is some sort of weakness here in some way. There's a weakness here with spilling over in Europe, and leaders trying to create chaos, trying to create problems that does not exist or should not exist because they're not entitled to exist. But I don't get any cards that indicate there is going to be a sense of a war, but rather a building up of energy, a building up of tension. So it feels like it's going to be on the news outlets, and people are going to say, oh, World War III being declared, we're going to World War III. I don't see it. I don't see the energy here. It's just saying that there's going to be points in time over the next 4 years where it feels that we're very close and we're on the brink. Even like I'm getting like by a mere second, but no. No. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and let me know in the comment section below what you think of today's video. And until then, I will see you all in the next video. I love you. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon. Peace out.